do that. And again, we have our little rapid deployment air fighter here that's able to just hover over everything and just rapidly inject things into your machines. Right now, we take pride in having all our machines on the MSN. We're transitioning all of our Cavalier people to Jefferson, so that also puts them on the MSN. That'll be coming up a little further with the deployment data protection manager. So anyways, having these guys on the network allows us to rapidly deploy patches. And just like this guy, two guys jumping right out of the airplane, ready to hover in and deploy our patch. So, SCCM. All right, let's try playing SCCM now with this guy. Since I just installed the client on this machine here, I'm going to try to bring up the console so that you guys can see what it looks like. Actually, hopefully see some deployment going on here. Crossing fingers over wireless here. Why didn't you just bring hardwire? Because it's not secure. All right, so config manager console. We are using a 2007 R3 instance of SCCM. Very old, but that's what ITS is using now and what we have to work with. We are trying to push for SCCM 2012 to be installed, so we have some other features. But your SCCM instance may look a little different from this one, depending on what vintage you have. So I'm just bringing up the console here.
Jer,
Yes.
how do you go about getting an SCCM instance
From ITS?
Yeah.
You ask.
I mean, is there much involved in it?
I would contact Microsystems. I was hoping Rick was going to be here today, but he is sadly not.
He means VAMs.
Yes. VAMs, Microsystems, synonymous, virtualization, and Microsoft solutions. If you say so. And of course, you're not really supposed to email VAMs directly anymore. You have to email for help, and they will redirect your call for you. It's worked for me so far, so I'm mildly pleased about that. So, anyways, what you see here is all of our machines that we've deployed out and imaged and put on our SCCM server. Right now, all of these groups is what we support. Yeah, it seems like a lot, and it is. And that's why we got split up. Yay! And all these machines here are all the ones actually in our EXA domain. Let's sort those by name. And what is the name of my machine? It's 2 Victor Victor. So, oh my gosh, it showed up. Chris, I'm so impressed. Usually this takes about 15 minutes from the time that I install a client for ET phones home to the mothership and gets into my domain listing here. Sometimes this takes about 1 hour and 15. Sometimes it takes 5 hours and 15. It really depends on the moon phases. The domain, you know how it is, it's quirky on ground. So sometimes the domain doesn't push right, or the Active Directory says, hi, I'm not really there. Sometimes I smack this about 5 times in sequence and it pushes it. It's really hit or miss. Sometimes you can hit refresh on this and it shows up. Right now it's phoning home, thinking about it, calculating, and it relists all your machines that's in your group here. So anyways, what I can do is I can go to 2VVN9G1 and say I forgot to install something on that machine. And remind you that I'm not touching this machine at all. This is already deployed in the field. And I want to manage collection management and add to a collection. And what I want to add it to? I want to add it to my software tree. And I want to install I want to install a 32-bit DPM client. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And theoretically, the whole thing goes right. The DPM client should install this machine without me touching it at all. How that works is that I actually have a silent DPM installer for the client, unlike this one, where I actually just run setup on the machine, but it's actually running it over to Ethernet, over to wireless, whatever you want to call it, and on this machine with administrator rights, and that's already scripted into the installer. So kind of nice. Let's do something else. Let's go ahead and
let's verify.
Yeah, well, hang on.
Final call.
So these are D430s now, so yeah, you got to bear with the system here.
Throw a reader on there.
Susan's from Missouri.
Come on now.
I've had IT training.
SCCM is kind of throw me a monkey wrench now. I actually right-clicked on that. Hopefully the pop-up menu will have it eventually. But again, it's happening over wireless and not the ideal conditions. So let's say manage collection membership, add to collection.
Even when it's on a wired connection, it's sometimes slow.
Yes, it depends on the mood phases, you're right. So these are kind of cool. Now we made non-Oracle JREs and Oracle JREs, all right, because you can't mix the right Oracle JREs and expect to get to integrated systems, right? So in our minds, we know who our physical admins are, and we know which Oracle to deploy to them. So say I wanted to install a non-Oracle JRE version, which is the 7.1 something, right? Which doesn't work with integrated systems yet. And this way I can make sure the right Java is updated to up and up on each one of those systems. If I don't want to do that, I can give it the ISDS version of Oracle. And the cool thing is that each one of our Java instances, it takes the rights away from updating Java at all from the user. So therefore, they can't screw with it at all. And therefore, it's not going to auto-update on you and destroy Java on your integrated system machines. Kind of nice. And of course, in each one of these installs, it's going to detect for all the previous versions of Java and uninstall those for it right away too. I love that. It saves me a lot of time. So I can actually apply the Oracle Java to any one of these groups now, and therefore it'll just wipe out all of Java on every one of those machines and possibly reboot their system too. Because as you know, when you install Java, it sometimes wants to reboot. Therefore, that could prove some chaos for these people. And yeah, so that's kind of nice. Without even touching the machine, Java's going to get installed. I want to do one more.
Jer, before you go
Yes.
on, what if their machines are powered off their machine at night? You push this,
It'll hit it the minute they
It'll wait.
turn it on.
so
It'll wait.
okay.
Yep.
The other thing is nice about this too is, let's say you go out and update that collection software, you don't have to go out there and automatically update the whole collection. So if you update the version, it'll automatically go back out and touch all these machines and update them.
As long as the machine stays in the collection, it'll automatically do that. I want to actually show you a non-quiet installer as well. This is called the mail store client, and we could not script this to be quiet. So it's actually going to pop up an installer for this user, and it's going to say push next, like you would when you insert a CD or download a client off the internet. You got to push next, push next, push next, push next, but you'll see the installer come up here in time. Yes, it's just a client that we use. If we have time, I can show you that later.
What was your thing? Was it the size of the mailboxes that you all found?
That's what we do for archiving email.
Right.
New discussions. Don't
No,
go down that road.
Oh, I remember now. I remember.
Yes,
I
don't-
needed.
All right. So yeah, SCCM for rapid patch deployment. That's kind of what we're using it for. With the new version, SCCM 2012, you can actually do the deployment inside of it. We're not doing that because I have MDT to script all that, and I put a lot of effort in there, and it works very well, very bulletproof. But if you're looking to do deployment and patch management, use SCCM. It's very, very similar. Now, Mike Beveridge was actually at the last meeting that I did this at, and he's having a lot of problems with SCCM doing deployment. So your miles may vary. I don't know that yet. Yes.
So you're doing your initial client manually, and then you're doing updates through SCCM.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
That was what I guess I was going to ask about. I didn't know about Mike, but if you had to do this over again, you would use SCCM.
Maybe. Just because this is a big elephant in the room. This is what Microsoft wants you to use. This is not free. So this comes out of your agency 207 funds that you pay $60 a head. If you needed to buy this, if you're not agency 207, SCCM starts at $253.19 from the campus select agreement. So it's not expensive, but it's not free.
So you're paying per client?
No, just for the server. Yeah. Plus the cows, right. I don't know how much the cows cost, but probably budget $5 per cow. Generally Microsoft flavored price.
And if you went on your own, how much of the setup and configuration is I just taken care of for you, and how much?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, how much of extra burden of work are you adding by going your own direction?
Yes.
BAM's direction?
I was actually tasked with installing SCCM on one of our servers until Rick Down says, hold the train.